Hey guys, how's it going? Touching base with you again. We're going to start getting into the repair options that you have for foundation movement problems. Now, I like sticking this on a paradigm. I call it the paradigm of foundation settlement. Very, very important concept for you to pay attention to. There's a much longer in-depth analysis about all of this with PowerPoints and pictures and all that fun stuff. If you're interested, let me know in the comments or message me directly and I can send you over a copy of this PowerPoint. It's very, very informative, but again, all of these videos I'm trying to keep very, very condensed. But we're going to explore each and every one of these options in separate videos, okay? Then you throw all those together and you have the paradigm video, but whatever. So first thing we do is make a little line graph right here, all right? And the basic idea is on the left side of the graph, you have the cheapest options, and on the right side of the graph, you have the most expensive options. And then we just run down that line, right? The first option is to do nothing. And if we do nothing, it doesn't cost you anything, right? Now guys, the long-term effect of doing nothing is actually a lot more expensive because you end up spending, well, we'll get into that. If you don't solve the problem, it will cost you dollars. I'm gonna start with that actually. If you don't spend any money whatsoever, it costs you dollars. Why? If you go to sell your home, if you were buying a home, and you knew the home had foundation repair problems or foundation settlement problems, would you pay full price? Nope. So what would you ask for it off? Would you ask for $1,000 off? Would you ask for $7,000 off? Would you ask for a percentage off? For the sake of this discussion, let's say you ask for 10% off. Average price of a home in most of California right now is running somewhere around $500,000. 10% of $500,000 is $50,000, and I'll tell you right now that may or may not cover the foundation repair, depending on where you land on this foundation or on this paradigm. So the cost of doing absolutely nothing, $50,000. You can probably fix the problem for less than 50 grand, probably. Some problems, affidavits, yeah, lots of things. Anyway, next up, I like to call these type C repairs. And that is basically cosmetics. So let's be real. People who don't know what foundation problems are, don't go calling foundation repair contractors the first time a door gets stuck or the first time a crack shows up in the wall, right? So all of these tiny costs start to incur between time and repair, whether you're using a handyman or you're doing it yourself. So time and material for fixing the cracks, fixing the doors, fixing the whatevers, you're incurring all of those costs. Now, while you're doing that, the foundation problem itself is getting worse. So whereas I might have been able to go like right here when the problem started for foundation repair, the longer I delay, the more it steps me further down this paradigm toward more money, right? The problem starts to affect more portions of the home. The problem becomes deeper. The problem is exacerbated in some way or another. So you incur the costs of your cosmetic expenses for fixing all that sort of stuff. And then you incur the costs of the foundation repair anyway, which by the way, anytime you level a house, you are picking that house up by the footing of the home. You do that, it affects what's called the superstructure, which we talked about that in our other video, right? It affects the superstructure. So just because I pick a house up, I'm gonna break doors and windows, and cracks in the wall might appear. They might close, but they might appear also. It's just the nature of the superstructure, the way the home's built, and the way everything kind of gets thrown together. So that's just something to keep in mind. There's almost always cosmetic repairs after leveling out a home. You may get away with stabilizing only, that's later. So, cosmetic repairs so now we move into other types of repairs. We have what we call pressure grouting or compaction grouting. Compaction grouting is basically an injection into the soil. You can use concrete, cementitious grout, cement sand slurry. You can use polyurethane, a structural polyurethane. I'm a big proponent of that. But we're going to explore how and why later. But this is treating the soil itself. Sometimes you can lift the house up, sometimes you can't. Depends on if it's a raised floor foundation, the condition of the home, how much goes into the soil, how much money you're dumping into it. Generally though, one of the cheaper options on this little paradigm. Next up, you get into steel underpinning. Steel underpinning. We're talking about push piers, helical piers. All of these go by different names. Push pins, helical piles, screw piles, torque a lot. There's a lot of names, all right? You're putting a bracket onto the footing. You're taking care of the soil by either screwing into it and binding it together, much like putting a screw into wood, or you're driving it all the way down to bedrock, picking the house up, which is much like putting the house on stilts. We'll explore all of those later, but that's where they fall on this, this repair line. Now, sometimes here and sometimes here, you have concrete grade beams. Basically, you're building a bigger footing. You're attaching it to the existing footing, or you're replacing the existing footing, one of the two, but that's in a second. So you're building a bigger grade beam. There are times this is necessary. We are going to explore this again later. Once again, just building a bigger footing than what was already there. Next up, foundation, replacement. If it's broke, fix it. Basically, we'll get into it when I talk about that section in a whole separate video. Replacing the foundation. If it's broken, fix it. It's the idea. And then generally, right over here at the end, you have those caissons we talked about. That is drilling a big hole and then dropping a rebar cage in there and then pouring concrete, letting that set and tying that into a grade beam, which attaches to the footing. It is a very, very, very expensive but extensive and very, very effective type of repair. So anytime I look at a home, I walk out there, I see these things, or I see the conditions of a house, and I can generally recommend everything from here to here to a homeowner. Now, as somebody who is looking at value engineering and providing the best value of service to a homeowner, you have to ask yourself one question. Based off of what my house looks like right now, whether it's down 1 inch or 50 inches, am I comfortable leaving it in the existing condition, or do I want to level it? Because that will also affect how you fall on this paradigm, all right? We'll get into design, we'll get into how to estimate and do all of that fun stuff later, because yes, as a homeowner, I still want you to understand that. But for right now, I just wanted to introduce the ideas. This is our paradigm. We're going to jump into a whole lot more videos in a little bit, and we are going to investigate every single part of this on the way. Thank you guys so much for the time. I appreciate your interest and comments. Once again, if you want the bigger presentation or the PowerPoint, just message me, leave a comment down there, or message me directly, doesn't matter. Like, click, share, do whatever it is people do on social media, and follow, subscribe. I think those are all the words I'm supposed to say. Thanks so much. You guys have a wonderful day.